All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kakwadash. That belongs to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Well, peace, blessings, salutations to those electors out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with heart sincerity. All right, and may the blessed election be upon your houses. All right, the title and topic of this lesson is going to be, all right, keep pushing and push harder. All right, keep pushing and push harder. All right, and in order to really do those things, all right, you must have endurance, you must have faith, all right, and you must have patience, all right, to be able to continually keep pushing and also to be able to continually keep pushing harder. All right, because as we are in these final days, these spirits cranking up more, all right, these evil spirits cranking up more, all right, demons on people cranking up more. Tensions throughout the four corners of the world is constantly increasing. All right. So we must, spiritually, match that and surpass, all right, what these demons are on, man, what these other forces are on. All right. Again, going back to the title of the lesson, right? Keep pushing and push harder. All right. We must work our endurance, work our patience, build our faith, and so forth, man. Because we are going to need it, man. Okay? We are going to need it. But let's jump straight into it. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, verse 2, and it reads, set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Right? Endurance is a key thing, man. Right? In the time of adversity, in the time of hardship, you can't just get up and try to run away from it, man. You got to really embrace that hardship, embrace that fire, man, and endure through it, man. Right? Again, going back to what? Pushing harder. Keep pushing, man. Because you can have, a different, trial or a different tribulation. Every brother got their own walk, whatever the case may be, right? But throughout that different trial or tribulation, you have to keep pushing. You have to, push harder. All right. And again, going back to what? Constantly endure and make not haste in a time of trouble, man. Right? So the time when you're faced with different adversities, different, trials, demons trying to attack you, demons trying to plague you, whatever the case may be, right? Again, like scripture says, make not haste in a time of trouble. Don't try to run away from it. Embrace it. Endure through it. Cleave unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. Right? Rely on the Lord, man. Trust in the Lord. All right? And keep fighting and keep pushing, man. Because we are very close to the end. Right? This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to quit. This is not the time to slow down. Right? No, we got to sing in Florida. All gas, no brakes. Right? This is not the time to slow down, man. Right? This is time to continually push and push harder. Continue trying to make our calling our election sure. Okay? This is also Sirach, the 2nd chapter. Jump down to verse 14, and it reads, woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will you do when the Lord shall visit you? Again, you must have patience, man. Endurance and patience, man. Right? We've seen men that came in and out this truth, man, that came in the truth and fell out, man. Right? For various reasons, man. Right? Men that didn't have patience in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. Right? Ultimately, they couldn't keep pushing. They couldn't push harder. And one of the reasons is what? They didn't have that patience in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's why the scripture says, woe unto you to have lost patience, man. Woe going into what? Destruction. Right? Because those that have lost that patience, those that stopped pushing hard, all right, those that didn't keep pushing, right, what's going to happen? Destruction, man. All right? Because if you put your hand to that plow and you stop, ultimately, hey, you basically signing your death certificate, man. All right? Because the judgments of those that knew the truth and fell out of the truth and went back into the world is going to be far more worse than those that didn't know the will of the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right? That's why it is a serious matter when you pick up this plow. That's why it is a serious matter when you come and serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And this is something that you must genuinely understand, genuinely believe, right? Speaking to myself first and foremost, man, right? This is something you must very wholeheartedly believe and understand, man. This is a very serious matter, man. This is truly a life or death situation, man. You know, salvation or destruction, man. But we must have patience, and we must be able to endure, right? And we're able to do all these things through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, by cleaving unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, by having these scriptures, by understanding these scriptures, man, to allow us to continually keep pushing and to push harder. Yes, we are in the flesh. Yes, you may have times where you may feel weary, right? When you feel like, you know, your spirit's feeling down. But we have Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua to rely on. We have the scriptures to rely on. We have the brotherhood also to rely on, man. You know, to give you faith boosters, man. Faith boosters to lift up your spirit and so forth, man. All right? You can look at it like, you know, someone that's in the military, someone that's, you know, doing some type of sport, you know, a track star, you know, you're running, you started getting tired, but you're almost at the finish line. You're in first place, you're almost at the finish line, man. And you know you can't slow down or else you'll get passed. You know you can't stop or else you'll get passed. So you keep pushing, you dig in deep, and you push harder. All right? That is the mindset and the mentality that we should have when it comes down into this truth, man. Keep pushing and push harder, because we are almost at the finish line, man. We're seeing the prophecies come to pass, man. We're seeing the state of the world, man. We're seeing the times that we are in. All these signs to let us know that we are very close to the end. All right? You know? Again, going back again to the track analogy, man. You know, say you're running a 400 meter, you know? Or let's say 100 meter, man. Straight shot. You know? You take off first 10 meters, you know, take off, building up the speed, 20 meters, building up that speed, you know, and then what, that you could say the next meters, you know, you going, you building up speed, you cruising, then you get around that last 20 meters or that last 30 meters, you get a little tired, but you got to push, because you right there, you can see the finish line, man. So that's when you dig in deep and push hard, man. And we need to have that mentality when it comes down to serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. When it comes down to being in this truth, man. When it comes down to this ministry, man. Having that mindset of continually pushing and pushing harder. All right? This is Acts 14 and 22, and it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High, right? This is not a cakewalk, man. Okay, so don't expect it to be, man. This is not a easy situation in other terms, man. You know, we must, like the scripture says, go through the fire, go through the tribulation, go through the different hardships, get our faith tested. Get our endurance tested. Have our patience tested, man. All right? But these are things that we must go through. When you look at various athletes, they go through a strenuous training process, man. Right? They're training from their adolescence to when they're older. You know, conditioning, you know, strength training, all these different things, man. You hear athletes always say whenever they win like a championship or a game, they'll be like, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this, man. I gave it my all. And that is how we must be in this truth, man. Right? Must be ready and prepared to go through the tribulations. Must be ready and be prepared to get tested in various ways. But at the end of being tested in these ways, we must still be in the mindset of continually pushing, right? And pushing harder. Keep pushing and pushing harder. All right? That should add more fuel to the fire, man. Okay? Because the Lord already let us know, hey, when we come to serve Him, prepare our souls for these temptations, prepare our souls for the different trials and tribulations, right? To enter into the kingdom, we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom, man. All right. So us knowing these things, we must continually push. We must continually go hard for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, for this ministry, for this truth, man. To do everything to be found pleasing in the sight of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. This is James 1:3. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Again, going back again to patience, man. We need patience. Patience is one of, many crucial key traits or attributes to have when it comes to serving Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Right? Without patience, how do you expect to keep pushing? Right? Without patience, how do you expect to push harder, man? Right? You need that along with other things that I mentioned, all right? Like endurance and so forth, all right? To continually push harder, all right? These things go hand in hand with each other, man. All right? But hey, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect of Israel. Back again to the topic of this lesson is to keep pushing and to push harder. We are almost at the end. All right, Lord willing, we are found in good favor and found pleasing in the sight of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and we are a part of that number to be saved out of this place before the utter final complete destruction falls upon Babylon, America. All right, but with that, I'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakwakadash, that belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the full elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with heart sincerity. Until next time, shalom, and above all, Kwam Yasharallah, shalom.